So I do want to welcome everyone to our first campus update for this academic year. I especially, though, want to welcome our new employees who you saw on the screen while you were waiting for the start of today's update. So if you are a new employee or were promoted since in-service when we met last, would you please stand now so that we can officially welcome you? So I know there's anybody here that's either in a new position or very good. Welcome. I will do a little disclaimer. Or are you pointing at people back there who haven't stood? Okay, so they're getting called out back there. I love it. I love our team. Since in-service was shortened this year because of our focus, we wanted to focus solely on achieving the dream. I will let you know we have quite a few topics to cover today. But before we hear from our first presenter, I would like to provide you a few updates from the campus director's office. So, did it go, Russ? Nope. Hold on. Got it. Okay. So, you know, I always give an update on our big three, and I think everyone's familiar with this. When I became the campus director, I asked all of you, what is important to you as we move forward? And we, as a team, really said we're going to focus on not only student success, but employee success, service, and wellness. And so let me give you a brief update. First of all, I want to thank everyone for participating in the recent ICAP workshops. That was everything student success, focusing on student success. So I thank you for that participation. I wanted you to know that tomorrow, do y'all remember Kevin Riley, who came and spoke with us for employee recognition this year? He will be on campus tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock to speak with our students. So I don't know anyone better to encourage our students to be successful and move forward. So please encourage your students to come tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. He'll be here from 9 to 10 in the Fireside Lounge. So, and you guys are welcome to pop over too. I'm certainly going to be there because I know everybody said how much they enjoyed Kevin being here at employee recognition. And then, did you guys know that the college's first class of RN to BSN graduates will be walking across the stage this December? So, woo, right? Yeah. So I mentioned this under student and employee success because this is a great success story for not only our students who will be walking across the stage, but for all the faculty and staff who put in countless hours to make sure that this program was top-notch and that we have a very successful program. So congratulations to everybody. Our second big number, number two of the big three is service. So there's a picture of our group at Coastal Cleanup. The thing I love about our family here is that when we do these service events in the community, our family grows because our children come with us, right? So you can see some of our kiddos there with their moms and dads who are faculty and staff here at the college. So thank you for participating in that. Thank you for those of you that help volunteer in the food pantry. I will say that we're looking for some more student volunteers. So if you know of some students, if you're in an academic program, you oversee a program where you think that's a good fit, please connect them with Kelly Dunt and our student affairs team so we can get some more students in there volunteering as well. Thank you for the Run White and Blue volunteers. We couldn't have done that with all the volunteers for that. What a huge event, so thank you. The Sposato 5K, lots of volunteers helping for that. And just coming soon, we're going to do another habitat build, so look for some emails about that. I know we had a group go out in the spring. They wore their Delaware Tech gear and really had a great time. We're also going to ring the bell for Salvation Army at Walmart again this year. So there'll be 2 days in December. We ask that you dress warm because it's very cold, right, Karen Swain? We were there, very cold day. I think Hillary and Shelley were there the same day. It was very cold. But we ask you to wear your Delaware Tech gear, sign up for an hour, head over to Walmart and ring the bell, show our support of our community. And then our last area of the big three is wellness. And so just a reminder, there's a picture there of one of our Fit Friday days. Thank you to Cassie for taking all the selfies. When she's not there, I have to find somebody to take a picture. So we appreciate that. We meet every Friday at the flagpole outside of Student Services Center. If it's raining or kind of yucky out, we meet at the Jason Technology Center desks for a walk. So please feel free to join us. We go for about 20, 30 minutes and get to talk with each other and really enjoy each other's company. We also did the Governor's Cup again this year. Thank you to everybody who participated in our off-site walk and run on October 2nd. And then I just encourage you to stop by the Wellness Center to check out their offerings. So thank you for everyone's commitment to the Big Three, and if you have any ideas or suggestions for any of these 3 areas, please email me, text me, call me, IM me, let me know so we can get some more ideas around this type of focus. So we're streamlining processes. Everybody likes to hear that, right? So our word processing team is now equipped to print business cards, letterhead, and envelopes right here on campus, which is huge. So I want to thank Word Processing, the Deans of Instruction Office, Tom Byrne and Adrian Wade, for working together to develop a work order system for this new process. So, oops, hold on. There we go. And so on my DTCC, there's a new button under work orders where you can order those items now. Why is this great news? Well, first of all, the new process will save us some money, which we love. But more importantly, it'll result in decreased wait time for all of you to get the things that you need. When we send it off to somebody, it takes some time to process, then we have to pay the shipping, and then it comes back. So please check out that link. I will tell you that that's only offered at Owens campus right now. I thank Christine Travis in the Office of Instruction and the word processing team for working together for us to get a new copier last year, that the lease was no more money, but it now allows us to do all these cool extra things in-house. So who would have known? So thank you to that team that's always thinking on how to do things a little better, and please check out that link, okay? There's templates, and it asks you all kinds of information, and then word processing will get that, okay? When Karen sent out the email for me about the agenda, she always puts in there, if you have any questions, ahead of time. And somebody did bring up the 113-404 overpass or flyover that's coming in the near future. So for those of you that don't know about this, there's been a series of public meetings. The team and I, Scott Eisman and I, have been part of those meetings. There is a plan to have what we call a flyover or overpass constructed out here for 404 and 113. I don't know, Scott, when was it? Spring sometime, we had a meeting. There was a public meeting on campus here. They proposed 5 different versions. 4 of those were east-west flyovers. 1 was a north-south. The college team got together. We sent, and that was Jerry and Mark and myself and Scott. And we put together kind of what we would like. We really wanted the north-south flyover because it didn't really have much of an impact to our campus. But as you can see, alternative B, which is on the screen, is the plan that has been selected. So I'm in the process of communicating with the project lead with DelDOT to get a meeting between DelDOT and Delaware Tech so we can talk about how this will impact our campus. The project is slated to begin in 2023. They say it's going to be an 18-month project at that time, so we're on the front end of this project. You can see in the drawing, I don't know how well you can see, but it does cut in a little bit to our property. You can imagine there'll be a flyover there. The traffic pattern's going to be different, so that's what we're concerned about. We want to make sure that our students, our faculty, staff, our visitors have a safe way to get in and out of campus. The traffic signal won't go away, so we fought for that. That'll stay, but we need to figure all this out. So as I know more information, I will continue to share information with you, but our next step is that we will be having a meeting with DelDOT to talk about the impact to our campus, okay? And then, we support veterans, and so I would be remiss if I didn't bring up our veterans today, since on November 12th we will be celebrating Veterans Day. So I think everybody knows this, but this year we were again awarded or recognized as a military-friendly school, so we're super proud of that. On Monday, November 12th, we are going to be having a breakfast on campus. Over in in Carter Partnership Center. We're going to be honoring our National Guard and our reserve forces. So if you are a veteran, if you would like to come to support our veterans, we ask that you come and join us for breakfast and a fantastic presentation. This is open to the community, so feel free to bring community members. When Mark and I are out in the community, we often talk about how we're proud to be a military-friendly school and that these veterans events that we have, Veterans Day events, are not only for our campus, but for the community that we serve. So please help us spread the word. Immediately following that, and this isn't on the slide, Senator Pettyjohn will be hosting in the same room at 10 o'clock a town hall for veterans, for the community. And you're welcome to stop by that as well at 10 to 12. And basically there's a model throughout the country where veterans come and tell their stories. So you might want to pop in if you have time during that time. I'll be kicking it off and welcoming Senator Pettyjohn to campus as we're proud to host an event that focuses on our veterans. And then last but not least, we have another great partnership, and I thank Gail and her team for working on this with me. But BB Healthcare reached out to us, and they are very interested in supporting our veteran community as well, their community health division. And so on Wednesday, November 14th, we are going to host BB and partner with them to show the movie Almost Sunrise. And it's a pretty powerful movie for veterans. Veterans from the community are going to be invited. All of you are invited. There'll also be a resource area for veterans that night on campus. It'll be in the theater, of course. And then the cool thing is that BB is going to be offering a specific workshop and training for veterans in December that really focuses on, and it's free, focuses on addressing PTSD, I always get my letters mixed up, sorry, PTSD. And so it's going to be a great night. It's a really powerful film. If it's something you're interested or you know somebody in the community would, please invite them to join us that evening. So next I'd like to invite up Dr. Melissa Rakes.
Thank you, Bobby. It's always nice to start the day in Georgetown, start the week in Georgetown. I'm excited to be here with my Owens campus family. So I think many of you know that we had our Achieving the Dream coaches come and visit the college, the second visit that they made to us, earlier this month, October 4th and 5th. And some of you had the opportunity to engage in activities and meetings with them, but we had a really great visit. And after that visit, as it was concluding, Dr. Brainerd really wanted to make sure that he was sharing a consistent message with everyone at all the campuses about that visit and some next steps, because we need everyone to know what's happening with Achieving the Dream and be a part of what we're doing, the work that we're all a part of together with Achieving the Dream. So before I share a few little tidbits about Achieving the Dream with you, I'd like to share this message from Dr. Brainerd.
As you may know, over 100 of our colleagues gathered in Dover last week for our first ICAT workshop that we conducted as part of Achieving the Dream. Our two ATD coaches came back to Delaware to assist us with that event, and we also scheduled a number of meetings with them and our core leadership team, our college-wide data team, and a number of other college working groups that focused on areas such as accreditation and learning communities. As you can imagine, the activities for those 2 days were nothing short of tremendous. And once again, we demonstrated to those national experts just how talented our college leaders are and how committed the Delaware Tech community is to this process. One of the observations that was made at the workshop is that there still may be members of the faculty and staff who either don't know what Achieving the Dream is or why the college is participating in this 3-year initiative. That's a fair comment. It's been a very busy semester. These first few weeks have been dominated by a few major projects, such as transitioning to the new academic calendar and learning D2L, along with everything else we're doing to serve our students. So I'd like to ask you to help us get the word out to anyone who might still have questions about ATD. It's really as simple as going to the college website and entering Achieving the Dream in the search bar. As you can see, it leads to the special web page that we set up to keep everyone informed on the work that's already been done, as well as the timeline for the work ahead. This page includes a short description of Achieving the Dream, what they will provide the college in the form of resources and coaching, as well as a short paragraph explaining why we are participating in this work. If you would like a more detailed explanation, the video of my in-service message is just a click away on the right side of the page. In that message, you heard that we were going to revive the college-wide Student Success Committee that would serve as the main forum or vehicle for this work. That's been done, and as you may know, the first meeting of that retooled committee was held just a few weeks ago, and many of you who couldn't be present attended via technology or in one of the listening rooms at the campuses. During in-service week, we held open forums that many of you attended, hearing from our national coaches, experts in this work, and they gave a detailed description of ATD and offered many of you the opportunity to ask questions and express your interest in ways you could participate and support us in the years ahead. If you happen to miss these forums but still want to learn about the presentation and conversations that occurred that week, just click on the tab above and the entire 50-minute presentation is available. A few weeks ago, you were asked to complete the ICAT, an institutional assessment tool that provides us a college-wide snapshot of perceptions in 8 key areas, everything from leadership and vision to equity and instructional support. Our thanks go out to many of you, over 750 faculty and staff who submitted these assessments from across all 4 locations to help us begin this work. Which brings us to the most recent ICAT workshop. As I said, over 100 participants gathered in Dover in 2 small group sessions, worked with colleagues from around the college to dive deeper into these 8 key areas, and with the help and support of group facilitators, provided us with additional feedback about how we're currently supporting our students and what we might do better in the future. Using that same format, workshops will be held at each campus location on October 16th to gather even more information about those 8 key areas. Later this month, all this information, data from the ICAT, and the feedback from all of the workshops will be compiled, organized, and then shared with the college community early next year. This information from as many of you as possible will be the foundational data that will be used in the spring to develop an action plan for the years ahead. As Justina has said many times since August, year 1 of our ATD work is all about planning and preparation. So we're off to a great start, but we really have another 6 months or so of planning, preparing, and then developing a draft report by next May. This brief message is simply another ask for your help. If you have any questions about this work or the process, please review the information that we've posted in recent months on the college website. I encourage you to be directly involved in providing feedback and information throughout this entire process. It will be critical to our work in the months ahead. Again, thank you again for all you do for our students and for your help with this very important initiative.
So that is the most important message. It's that we need everyone's help as part of what we're doing with Achieving the Dream. We really did have a wonderful visit with our Achieving the Dream coaches. They continue to state how impressed they are with everything that we do for student success. They kind of saw us in this unique paradigm, right, where we're working really, really, really hard and we're doing wonderful things and moving the needle on student success in ways that other colleges aren't. But at the same time, we're working so hard, right? We're making ourselves a little overwhelmed. We have all these student success initiatives, so at the same time, we need them a lot, and we have a lot of great things already happening. So we're really in a unique position that they said they don't really see any other colleges in that boat with us. So it's kind of cool that we're leading this student success work in a different way than maybe some other colleges that are kind of undergoing the same experience. Likewise, the coaches just commented on how much they really value everything that we do here at Delaware Tech. As you probably know, they are both of our coaches are retired from many years in higher education, and they don't intend to go back to full-time work at a college at any point in the future, but one of the coaches who's been a president at multiple institutions said if she were to go back to work full-time, she would want to come back as a full-time faculty person at Delaware Technical Community College. So that's pretty impressive, that out of all the places she's worked, out of all the different institutions she's coached, she would want to work here. I think it speaks a lot to the work that you all do and the culture that you create to make this place so great for one another and for our students. So we were really excited to hear that news, but we know that we have work to do because we want to make sure that we are making this great, again, both for us and for our students. So your help is what we need. The way you can get involved is plentiful, right? So who participated in an ICAT workshop last week? Great, wonderful. So we had really, really good participation between the campus workshops and the college-wide workshops. So that was a total of 9 workshops altogether. We had more than 700 individuals participate. So again, pretty impressive, the commitment that you've all made to being involved in this. But there are more opportunities, right? So you can check out the webpage and learn what's happening with Achieving the Dream. You can participate in a Student Success Committee meeting by attending via live stream. There's even a feature that Molly Carter helped us to set up so that you can live chat during the meetings, and if you have a question or a comment, you can participate right from your desk or from one of the listening rooms on campus. So there are so many ways that you can get involved, and so far many of you have been involved. Like Dr. Brainerd said, you participated in the ICAT, you participated in the workshops, you've attended the campus forums, and we've heard some questions from you, and they've been really, really good questions. So we wanted to take today's opportunity as an opportunity to respond to some of those questions. So the one thing that we've heard, and I don't know if it's just a myth or if there was miscommunication that happened, I'm not really sure, but we just wanted to clarify that there is no plan, right? Justina has been saying that this is a year of planning and preparation, and that is so true. That is what we're doing this year. We're planning, we're preparing. We don't have the plan already developed. When we applied to Achieving the Dream, we had to identify a few different areas that we might need to work on, and we all know what those areas are. I heard you say them during the ICAT workshop. So we know what the areas we need to work on are. We see a theme in those areas. So we identified some. That doesn't mean that those areas will or won't be the top priorities in our plan. Together, we need to develop that plan. And right now, that plan doesn't exist. The first step in developing that plan is developing our student success vision. So you all were a part of that during in-service. The Student Success Committee took all of your feedback. You can just ask them about all of the information that they looked at during the Student Success Committee meeting, and they boiled that down to a few example student success visions, and then Christine and her team actually took all of those visions and kind of put them together so that we can share them with the college community, and we'll be doing that during the month of November so that you can all give feedback on what our student success vision is. So what does it look like? We're participating in Achieving the Dream for 3 years. That's what we signed up for, right? So the first year is planning and preparation, starting with that student success vision, and then we're going to use the data, like from the ICAT workshops, from key performance indicators, from the SESI, from student feedback sessions, from all sorts of different sources, and we're going to develop an action plan. Again, we're going to need your help. We'll put it together so you can provide us with some feedback on that plan, but it's going to be based on everything you shared, and then we're going to ask for your help in finalizing it. In year 2, we're going to create the structure to support that plan, right? So depending on what the plan is, we might not be able to just say, okay, well, tomorrow turn on the light and the plan goes into effect. It doesn't necessarily work that way, and most likely won't, because things just don't happen that fast. And then in the 3rd year, we'll actually begin implementation. So just for a concrete example, so if in our plan, this is my favorite idea for a plan for achieving the dream, one of our priority items. To better serve Delawareans, I really think we need to establish a campus in the Caribbean. Anyone interested in this idea? I have a few takers, okay. So if that's what we identified as one of our priorities in our plan, right? Then next year we might have to go and look at real estate, get some property. We might start to, need to hire some people. Those of you who want to come with us could certainly do that. We'd love to have you. And then in year 3, maybe we'd be ready to open, starting with, 1 or 2 programs, right? And then we'd scale up from there. So that's kind of how this framework will work. Now keep in mind, what have we always done in the past when we have developed student success frameworks, right? It's not really been a framework, it's really been a list of different things we're going to do, right? A whole bunch of tasks. So we have had items 1 through 300, letters A through Z, and there's some report that lives somewhere, and then we all get assigned all sorts of work to do to implement all those ideas, right? And some of them get implemented, and some of them don't, and sometimes we know where they stand, and sometimes we don't know where they stand. This is so different because really there are just going to be 2 or 3 main priorities. We're going to be really strategic about the work that we're doing. Instead of developing the laundry list of everything we could possibly do, right? Because sometimes it feels like we're doing everything we could possibly be doing, right? We're going to be a lot more strategic and look at big buckets of areas where we can really make a difference in student success. I have a feeling, though, my Caribbean campus might not make the list. But I can dream, right? So what is this really like? Okay, it's really like doing a home renovation project, in my opinion, right? Has anyone done a kind of somewhat significant home renovation project? Or even if you haven't, have you had this motivating moment on the weekend where you're like, I'm gonna clean my closet, and then you get halfway through cleaning your closet and your clothes are all over your bed, and you're like, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? Why did I decide that this was a good idea, right? So that's kind of what it feels like with achieving the dream, right? We're in this planning and preparation phase, and we don't know what's going to happen next. It's a little scary, it can be a little overwhelming, and the coaches told us that if we feel a little unsettled, that means we're doing a good job. So if you are feeling a little unsettled, like, I'm not so sure about achieving the dream or what's going to happen or how it's going to work, that means you have the right feeling. So for years, we have been doing our own home renovation project, right? It's a DIY, YouTube the answer home renovation project where we've done some really good things, right? We've built some beautiful rooms that students really want to live in, that we really want to live in, but we've also built some hallways to nowhere. We've built some swimming pools that maybe don't have any water, all sorts of things. I know that's really appropriate for the Owens campus, right? I was thinking of you when I thought of that example. So we've done some things that are really good and some things that maybe aren't really as effective as they could be. So everyone around the room has been a part. I'm looking at everyone like I can think who's been a part of different projects over the year. Everyone's been a part of things. And we've made some great progress, right? We have increased graduation rates from 12% to almost 21%, right? That is impressive. And we did that ahead of our target date. But we still have work to do. We just need to be more strategic in doing it. So instead of continuing to do the do-it-yourself sort of situation where you might feel a little bit of chaos from time to time, or you might have some situations where things just don't work as planned, or maybe you can't quite get the car into the garage, we are hiring some experts, right? Some coaches who are going to help us design our house. They're not going to build our house for us. They are not going to tell us that we can't have a great big living room or a wonderful kitchen if that's what we feel is best. They're going to help us, though, in making those data-driven decisions about what we really need to have in our house. Again, so that everyone really enjoys living here, and hopefully it looks like this. Can you see a theme with where I want to live when I retire? So finally, our work is evolving, right? Justina and I, the core team, we've never been a part of Achieving the Dream before. This is the first time that we're doing this. So we're learning along with all of you, right? So when you have a question, it helps us to think about how can we do this better and differently, more strategically, more meaningful than ever before. We need to hear from you, because if not, we're not going to make this the best framework that we possibly can. So just to give you an example, in forming the Student Success Committee this year, we really looked to Achieving the Dream to guide us in what that Student Success Committee structure should look like. Obviously, this year we're going to learn a lot, right? And next year, we may need a different structure for the Student Success Committee. It may be bigger, it may be smaller, it may have different representatives, but we are evolving as we do this work. Again, I just want to make the point that that's why your feedback, why your input is so important, because in order for us to move forward together, we need that. I want to thank you, and as always, if you have any questions, please reach out to a member of the core team, or you can email us at our Achieving the Dream email address, and Justina or I or another member of the core team will get back in touch with you as quickly as possible. Thank you and have a great day. And I'm going to introduce Dr. Christine Gillen for our Strategic Communication and Marketing Update.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. Part of our update that we're going to do for you today is showing you our new television commercial. And that's why I have these two ladies with me. Most of you probably know Natalie Hines, who is our social media manager. And this is Allison Hayes. She's the PR manager upstate. But both of these women showed extreme leadership throughout the process of not only the campaign, but especially the television commercial, which was a lot of intense work, and I wanted them to be here with us. Allison is the head of the video committee. Now that we are truly a college-wide team, we have people that have taken leads on a variety of different initiatives, and Allison is it for video. I know some of you might have met her because there have been some videos made for some academic programs here on the campus. Speaking of the TV commercial, we did a lot of scouting and filming down here at Georgetown, and I just wondered if you had anything to do with any of that, if you could stand up so we could recognize you. Scott, stand up. Bob, stand up. Thank you. And there were a lot more, they're just not here today, but we had a lot of wonderful, we disrupted things, we caused disruption in the CDC and in ag and in different places that we went, so we really, really appreciate the support. So, to give you an update on what we're doing. Oh, yeah, all right. Natalie's going to drive. In 2014, you might remember Dr. Brainerd's in-service message. He identified 3 major priorities. One of those was to create a blueprint task force to make recommendations for student success. He also wanted to implement work-life balance initiatives. And the third one was to do a better job of telling our story. And so that led to the Degree Different campaign, which we've had now for 3 years. And it's been a wonderful campaign. We've been able to highlight a lot of our programs, highlight the fact that we're different from other institutions of higher ed in this state. And we knew it was time to do something more and build on that campaign. So we went back to the ad agency that helped develop that campaign, A&C, and we worked with them on a new concept that would say, okay, yes, we're different, we're a degree different, but let's build on that and even take it to the next level. So I want to share with you the concept. This is not the commercial yet. This is the inspiration behind the ad campaign.
We are an army of influencers. We are the nurses who look after our communities, the technicians who maintain our infrastructure, the mechanics that keep us moving. We are behind the scenes and on the front lines, building Delaware up and driving it forward. At Delaware Tech, we're creating a different kind of workforce for a different kind of Delaware. And it starts with a student like you, with skills to hone and a passion to be part of something bigger.
Okay, so now we're going to share the campaign with you. We really, again, want to thank you. We're going to start with a short video that shows some photos that we took during the scouting and the filming of the commercial, because we just wanted to share with you some of the intensity that we felt. And we really wanted all of you to be a part of it. We wanted you to see this ad campaign before you start seeing it on billboards and on television, because it's really something that represents all of us. So Barry went above and beyond as usual. You could eat off the floors at the aviation facility. That's the paramedic facility in Dover. That's Danielle and Kyle's field. Okay, so now what we're going to share with you is the 30-second video, which will be our television commercial that will start to air after today.
We are the force that's pushing Delaware forward.
One step at a time.
We are the technicians powering its cities.
All state.
And the healthcare providers looking after its communities.
We got this.
We grow the food that feeds Delaware.
And the rest of America.
We're behind the scenes, building Delaware up.
Really, Carl?
And then we'll do it all again.
Okay, class. Eyes on me.
We are Delaware Tech. We make the people who make Delaware. Enroll now and become part of something bigger.
Okay, thank you. So I'm sure almost everybody in here noticed that we used the term Del Tech instead of Delaware Tech. And that was the result of a lot of discussions we had with AB&C, who told us, you are the only people in Delaware that call yourselves Delaware Tech. Like, we need to call you what everyone else calls you. So we're not giving up our whole brand. We still have our logo you can see in the bottom, but we really are going to, for the purposes of this campaign, we are going to be Del Tech. So I'll share with you now some of the billboards. And one thing to note about these billboards is we're paying extra to have them rotated every 2 months, so you won't drive by the same billboard in Greenwood and see the police officer for an entire year. It's important that people see that we have a lot of different programs, and so we're going to be constantly rotating those billboards throughout the year. These are some of our print ads. You can't really see that too well, but we are going to be doing some print ads. And then in addition to our print ads, we're going to be, of course, doing a variety of digital ads, social media, radio, Pandora. We have transit shelters. We're doing a lot of different things with these ads. But at this time, I wanted to invite Natalie to say a few words about how you can participate in this ad campaign with social media.
Hi, everyone. So obviously you saw throughout the campaign, we want the students to feel a part of something bigger, but we also want all of you to feel the same way. So this week we'll be posting graphics on the portal so that you can use those graphics on your own social media accounts, your department pages, or wherever. And we'll be officially kicking off our hashtag campaign, which will be hashtag DelTechMakesDE. So look out in this week for those.
Okay, so to finish today, we want to share with you the 50-second version of our commercial, which will not be on television, but we will be using it on our website. It's a little longer. We'll be using it for PowerPoint presentations, for various other things throughout the year. So we'll share you the 50-second version.
At Delaware Tech, We're creating a different kind of workforce for a different kind of Delaware. We are the force that's pushing Delaware forward,
One step at a time.
working towards a sustainable future, always thinking of smarter ways to power its cities,
Yeah, I'll stay.
preparing our healthcare providers to think fast under pressure and be ready for anything,
You got this.
developing new, more efficient ways to feed Delaware.
And the rest of America.
We're behind the scenes and on the front lines, learning our trades inside and out, always striving to build Delaware up.
Really far up.
And then we do it all again.
Okay, class, I got me.
We are Delaware Tech. We make the people who make Delaware.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I think most of you know who I am. I'm Elizabeth Groller from the Legal Affairs Department for Delaware Tech. And most of you have seen most of my trainings. I do trainings on accommodations, responsible employee, and today, and I think some of you have seen my trainings on animals on campus. I don't mean to bring the rest of this presentation down when I talk about compliance, which, but it is something that I think that, I've been asked to do today. And today we're going to talk a little bit about animals on campus. And everyone knows that, everyone loves animals, I would imagine, right? But everyone also knows that there's a time and place for animals in different, whatever forms we're talking about. So, do I just press the arrow button? Okay, so, all right. Some of you may have seen these slides. I added a different slide there. At the bottom, on the right-hand side, is a honey badger, and believe it or not, it has a little vest on it, and it's an anxiety comfort animal. And believe it or not, you can have a honey badger as an emotional comfort animal. But we have a dog and we have a horse also in the picture, and we've talked about these slides in the past. Okay, so before I get into it, one of the reasons I'm here today is not only because I've done this training before, I've sort of done this all throughout the year, but we also had some updates to the training. And so when I've gone to do the updates in smaller forums, people have asked me to talk about some of the original training that I provided. So I'm trying to put it all together. First and foremost, I'm going to define what an emotional comfort animal is, because it's going to be very distinct from what a service animal is. An emotional comfort animal is an animal that, by its mere presence or by the person who's handling the animal, petting that animal, provides comfort to that person. It does not have to be trained, although some people may train it to be an emotional comfort animal, and it can be any animal. What you will see most of the time, though, is you're going to see a dog that can be labeled as an emotional comfort animal. And if the mere presence of that dog, or if the dog sitting there with you petting it, is what provides the comfort to your anxiety or to your PTSD, then that would be considered an emotional comfort animal. Okay? All right. So before we go any further, I just want to say that this all comes from the federal regulations, and Delaware Tech is compliant with the federal regulations. And so we do what the federal regulations require is that with regard to service animals, which is not an emotional comfort animal, but with service animals, it requires us to permit them on our campus and allow them to go where the handler is permitted to go, okay? And so we have a Delaware Tech policy, and most of you know this policy. It's contained in our public safety website or page. I think if you go to that page, you go to Know Our Policies, and you'll see the service animal policy there. It is also contained in our disability support services page, because it does talk about emotional comfort animals, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So our general policy is that no animals are allowed on campus unless it's a service animal, okay? And there's a way to determine that. In rare circumstances, we do allow emotional comfort animals, but that goes through a different process. All right. So many of you have heard this definition. I just want to repeat it. A service animal is a dog that is individually trained to do work or perform tasks for the benefit of an individual that has a disability. And that disability can be physical, it can be cognitive, it can be psychiatric, it can be mental, it can be a lot of things. What we're seeing a lot of today is we're seeing a lot of service animals for people who have invisible type disabilities. Some of the more obvious ones is maybe a seeing eye dog, or a dog that is pulling a person in a wheelchair, assisting that person in a wheelchair. Now, a service animal, and I didn't bring this up earlier, but in the very first picture, you saw a picture of a miniature horse standing next to two people that were eating in a dining area. A miniature horse can be a service animal, but we're not, that requires a couple different types of assessments in order for that to happen. So if you happen to see a miniature horse, which we have not yet seen on any of our campuses yet, please contact public safety and or legal, and we will go through that assessment. Do not try to engage with that person, okay? So the two questions that we can ask is this service animal required because of a disability? And what work or task has the animal been trained to perform? Okay, and these questions are contained in the policy. These questions are verbatim out of the federal regulation. If anybody tells you that you can't ask these questions, absolutely not. You can ask these questions because the federal regulation actually puts these questions in their language. Okay. Before we get into this, one of the things is that, and we'll get into what you do when certain answers are given, but the time to ask these questions is not when you see a person with a seeing eye dog and you know for a fact that that is a seeing eye dog because you know for a fact that person is blind. Okay, that's obviously a service animal. Or in the other instance I gave, where the service animal is pulling a person in a wheelchair or actually picking up objects because the person cannot reach the objects. I've seen service animals, a lot of times you see people in wheelchairs that have backpacks, and the service animal will go behind and pull things out of the backpack for them. So the time to really ask the question is when it's not apparent that this animal is a service animal or this dog is a service animal. I'm going to refer to service animals as dogs because it's not any other animal. You can't have a cat. You can't have a bearded dragon, which somebody attempted to do at one point, I think on this campus. But it can be a dog, and that's pretty much it. So if it's not apparent, and as I said earlier, a lot of these things are, you're seeing a lot of invisible disabilities. PTSD is a primary example, or generalized anxiety disorder is another example, where you're not really seeing it, but the dog has been specifically trained to respond to episodes of anxiety or episodes of PTSD. Okay, so here are the questions that are not allowed. You cannot ask about the person's disability. This is if you happen to see a person come in with a dog. You can't ask them about their disability. You can't require them to provide medical documentation of their disability. You can't require that the dog have special identification or training documentation, which designates that dog as a service animal. And you cannot ask that the dog demonstrate its ability to perform its tasks. One of the things that we talked about, and I want to go back to this prior slide, and this goes to training documentation. A lot of people have questions about the service vest, service animal vest, because a lot of times you'll see people come in and their dog, and the disability is not apparent, but you see this dog that has a service vest on. That does not make it an apparent service animal, because a service vest does not determine whether an animal is a service animal, okay? So if the disability is not apparent, and it is not apparent what the dog is doing, but that dog has a service vest on, you still need to ask the two questions, okay? And if you're unsure about it, if you're really unsure and you don't want to get involved in it, contact public safety, because they know what to do. So, all right. So now that we've established that an animal is a service animal, when is it not allowed on campus, okay? When it's not housebroken. So if a service animal, if the 2 questions have been asked and the 2 questions were answered appropriately, then that's what designates it as a service animal, okay? And we'll go into that in just a couple of minutes. But if at this point the dog has been established as a service animal and it's seen on campus, if it's not housebroken, then it can be asked to be removed from either your classroom or from the campus until the handler can show that it's housebroken. The animal is out of control and the handler does not take effective control of the animal. So if the animal is rifling through people's purses and is barking uncontrollably or is causing a major disruption in the classroom, you can have that animal removed until the handler can show that the animal is under control, okay? And then the animal poses a direct threat to the health and safety of others. This is on a case-by-case basis. Generally, what they mean is that the animal is sort of what we call a red zone, so that it will bite somebody, it will attack somebody. Somebody brought up the question of, well, what about if I'm severely allergic to dogs? The federal regulations do not address that. So that is something that still needs to be worked out. And I know we've had a couple situations, I don't know if at Owens, but we've had it up north, where we've had a person who's severely allergic to dogs. And what happened was we sort of balanced out the needs of those students. And essentially the person that had an allergy was able to take a class later on in the semester as opposed to being in the same class with the person with the service dog, okay? One thing I say at the bottom here, the college is not responsible for the care or supervision of the dog, so the handler must be in direct control and must supervise the dog at all times. We had a situation where somebody was leaving the dog in the classroom and going out and having a cigarette off campus, so they wouldn't come back for like 15, 20 minutes. That is not having effective control over the animal, and the animal can be asked to be removed, okay? All right. So one of the other questions, and this is one of the things that, one of the updates that was provided to us, restrictions to access, and I get this question all the time, well, can we restrict a dog from a chem lab? And because of the safety of the animal and the chemicals that are being, they might drop a chemical on the dog or something like that. No, we can't restrict the dog from a chem lab or any lab that is not considered a sterile lab. And what they mean by that is that the environment has to remain sterile. That's the only time you can restrict a service animal from that. And I don't think we have any on this campus or any campus throughout the college. All right. So back to the first 2 questions. The first question is this animal an animal that is has been trained to assist you with your disability? And I'm sort of paraphrasing there because I don't have the questions in front of me. But so if they answer no to that question, what do we do? At that point, we don't go any further, right? We just refer them either to public safety, or if they say, no, this is an emotional comfort animal or emotional support animal or a therapy animal, then we refer them to the disability support counselor because it goes through a different process. It's treated as an accommodation that has to be approved by the disability support people. So when the animal is not a dog, okay, so if you see somebody walk in with a different animal and they're trying to tell you it's a service animal, if it's not a dog, other than maybe a miniature horse, then you can contact public safety and have them escorted out, okay? Or have them remove their animal. They're certainly welcome to come back in, and we want to make that apparently clear that the student or the employee or the invitee, whoever it is, the visitor, may come back in without the animal, okay? So when the handler does not answer yes to the first question, obviously then it's not, I already mentioned that. So if they get past that first question and they say, yes, this is an animal that is trained to assist me in my disability, then you ask the second question. If they can't answer the second question, that's when you contact public safety. and have them remove the animal from the campus, okay? So when we talk about describing the task, when a person says, well, the dog alerts me, I don't, that's not really describing the task that the dog has been trained to perform. Really, the task is, well, how does he alert you? He alerts you by jumping on you, he alerts you by licking your hand, he alerts you by barking at you. So it's the actual action that the dog does to let you know, to alert you as to whether or not you're going to have an episode or whether or not you're going to have, your anxiety is going to reach a certain level, okay? All right. So, as I said before, if the animals are not service animals, you can refer them, if they say they're emotional comfort animal, therapy animal, or emotional support animal, you can refer them to disability support services. If they're a student, if they're an employee, you can refer them to HR, and if they're a visitor, you refer them to public safety, okay? But you don't necessarily have to get into the process of once they've not answered the questions, don't get into the process of trying to determine exactly what this animal is. That's for the other people to do that. All right, so does anybody have any questions? Okay. I'm sorry, could you just?
Sorry, will we be notified if there are any students on campus that have already gone through that process? Like, I don't want to be walking down the hallway and that student's already seen everything.
Right.
Was there
It's a great question, okay? And so in the past, what we've tried to do is we've tried to say, well, maybe we should require that the handler register the animal so that it's in some type of, whether it's manual database or something where we can contact somebody. We are not allowed to require the handler. By federal regulations, we cannot require the handler to register the animal. So there are some ideas that are going around right now where we can recommend to them possibly, to maybe get their own student ID, so that you can see it, but that has not yet been implemented. My suggestion to you is that if you see an animal that's coming into your class, a dog that's coming in, and you're questioning as to whether it's a service animal, contact public safety, because they're the frontline people, and more than likely, we hope that they would have had some encounter with that person or that handler with the dog. So, and if not, then they can, you can also contact them, and then maybe they can approach the student after class, Okay? Any other questions? All right, well, thank you.
All right, good morning. So the next on the agenda is 30 prizes in 30 days. Hopefully everybody's received at least one email. I'm sure we'll send out a few more before November 1st. So we just want to take some time to show off the website and to show off all the prizes that are on 30 prizes in 30 days. Let's see, there we go. So you'll notice this year that we are running both of the campaigns, both at the Sussex site and Newcastle County site at the same time. So if you've gone onto the site to purchase your tickets, you'll know that you can purchase a Sussex raffle ticket, a Newcastle raffle ticket, or you can buy a ticket for both. So it's now gone from 30 and 30 to 60 and 60. So you have two chances to win. So on the website, little different design this year, combining the two locations. Go online and purchase your tickets through Acceptiva. Here are the options: Sussex, Newcastle, and both. Back to the site, there will be two drawings each day. So one will be for Sussex County site, and then Newcastle County each day. As you go to the website, you can check out all the prizes, which we've started to add them. We're getting a few more. Just received notification of 2 more this morning. So we'll get those added to the site. So as we wrap those up, they will be updated on the website each day. So you can go through, check out all the gift cards that are available, golf packages, chocolate, oil changes, Gift card to Big Fish Grill, J.D. Shuckers right across the street. A lot of good. Our committee really wanted to focus on food this year. What's up? Oh, it's not working? Why is it not working? What's that? Just go to the site, check out all the prizes. What's that? Dewey Beach Rental, just found out this morning we got that one. Another one that we just found out this morning was Lefties, a Laneside package. So bowling and food there. Spazzato Family Vineyards, a wine gift box. Bad Hair Day, brief retreat package, $235 value. And the big one you'll notice on the site, you noticed earlier this year we had a great Dewey Beach getaway raffle. That was a separate opportunity. This year, the 30th prize will be the Dewey Beach Getaway Condo Raffle in 2019, which is over $1,000 value. So it's a great opportunity to win. So go to the website, 30prizesin30days.com. Buy your tickets. We'll send you a couple more emails before November 1st. And all the money, again, goes to support study abroad scholarships. So for the past 2 years, we've been able to raise $19,000 a year, which is pretty amazing, to allow our students to study abroad and gain new experiences. So we appreciate your support. Any questions on 30 prizes? Thank you.
Hi. So, my name is Amy Russell, and I'm the International Education Coordinator here at the Owens campus, and I'm here today to give you a whirlwind tour of global understanding and the international education projects here at Delaware Tech. So, first of all, since it is Advisement Month, I want to review our study abroad opportunities. We have 6 courses traveling abroad this year. All courses are offered during the spring semester for academic credit, and all of them include a 7 to 12-day international travel component. The courses are led by Delaware Tech faculty members, listed here, and are perfect for students who want to study abroad but don't have a lot of experience with international travel. All of the courses go abroad during spring break or after the semester ends, so students don't need to miss any class. And we do have lots of scholarships available, so we definitely appreciate your support of 30 prizes in 30 days, which is where most of that funding comes from. Our students really depend on scholarships to help them afford the additional expenses of study abroad. And new this year, we also have study away courses. These are just like study abroad in format and composition, but the travel is actually inside the United States. This is brand new. We've never offered these before. We have 3 options for this year. And all of the courses, both study abroad and study away, are offered college-wide, so don't hesitate to share them with your students or any students here on campus. They can go to anyone, even if it's the faculty leaders are from another campus. You can direct students to our website or to me for more information. And speaking of awesome travel experiences, we have an international photo contest coming up. The entry form is currently on My DTCC for you to use yourself or to share with students, and each person can enter up to 2 photos depicting a significant cultural experience abroad or emphasizing the importance of diversity, inclusion, or global understanding in international or in everyday life. If you have a photo you'd like to enter, please fill out the form and email it to me along with your photo by Friday, November 2nd. Current Delaware Tech students and employees can enter, but only students are eligible for the judged prizes, but the first prize student will win a $100 gift card. The photo exhibit itself will be right out here in front of the theater from November 12th to the 30th. And the photo contest is part of the Global Understanding Series, which is a series of international events here on campus. So we have, this is our whole schedule for the spring semester. We have 3 more happening. We welcome you and your students, or even classes, at all of our events. The schedule is posted every semester on the website, and in case you're curious, the spring schedule for next semester will be available on the portal starting in January. We usually try to have that up before the semester begins, so if you want to mark your calendars, that'll be up there then. In particular, I'd like to highlight the Study Abroad Fair, which will be happening on Thursday, the 25th. That'll be a chance for students to go and learn more about these study abroad opportunities for this year, and also to meet the faculty leaders who will be traveling with them. It'll be in the Fireside Lounge if anyone's interested in attending from 11 to 1. And finally, if you're interested in the Global Understanding series and think of a good way to use it in your class or your job or a club, please let us recognize you as a global ambassador. Carrie McDaniel was our global ambassador in spring 2018, and she integrated the series into her learning community and won a $250 gift card for her creative work. So if you'd like to be recognized for how you use the series, go to the website listed here or on the Global Understanding flyer to enter. We'll recognize one winner per campus each year, depending on the quality of the submissions. And finally, if you have any questions, please contact me. Here's my contact information. And as a note, advisement information about study abroad and the photo contest flyer will be included in the faculty note this Friday. Thank you.
Hello, hello, hello. Morning. Next up, I got just a few minute public safety overview and update. I know we got a full schedule today. As we talk about each campus update, everybody in the room has a responsibility or a role in public safety preparedness. All faculty, staff, and students are encouraged to review the following standard response protocol on YouTube. I have the link there, and that's the young woman who's a survivor from the Virginia Tech shooting. It's like a 5-minute video. It's not very long, but obviously she was involved in the shooting, so it's pretty powerful and very, very worthwhile. The Run, Hide, Fight video, most of you hopefully are familiar with that. That's on the Deltec Home Page under Public Safety. And again, that's just a couple-minute video reinforcing those concepts of Run, Hide, Fight. I do want to show you a 5-minute video this morning. This will be new for everybody here. Director Winstead's in the back, and Bobby. I think this was shown at President's Council. It's a pretty powerful video. It's not graphic or anything. It's about the Parkland shooting. It's not going to work. Oh, it's not going to work. Can I go to YouTube? I can pull it up on YouTube?
I changed the setting.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I guess maybe in a Bobby Blast we can put it out?
Why don't
or-
I send an email out today that has both of these links on it? But Galen, why don't you kind of explain?
Yeah, I'll
the
explain.
Parkland shooting, and then
Yeah.
I'll send it out later on today.
Okay, my apologies. I know when we sent the PowerPoints out, I clicked on it and it linked, but I guess okay. Okay, different format. What it is, just to give you, and again, Bobby can put it out on a blast. Basically, it's just dots, okay? And what the detectives and the folks at the Parkland School, and this shooting was just in February of this year, they were able to basically recreate the shooter's movements. It has just basically like a floor plan of the classrooms, and it'll say like first floor, and it'll show the shooter, Nicholas Cruz. He's just a black dot. He's got a little line, so the line would represent his long gun. And basically, you just see the dot come in to the first floor, and then you'll see dots. And I believe the green dots are students, and a blue dot is faculty or staff. So you'll see where the dots are. And again, they recreated this from video. They have video in the hallways, as well as eyewitness accounts of what happened, and they could put all that information together and basically recreate the shooter's movements. So it's pretty powerful again. And during the video, you'll see, it'll say blue dots are faculty, staff, green dots are students. The entire shooting took about 6 minutes and 45 seconds, so about 7 minutes, which is probably about par. Most of the shootings nationwide are usually less than 5 minutes, but that's right in there. So obviously that seems like many hours if you're involved in an incident like that. And what will happen is when you see Cruz, when he engages somebody, they'll turn to yellow if they're wounded or purple if they're deceased. So you'll see a dot change from like green to purple or yellow or whatever. That's kind of the, really drives the point home of the incident. The important thing, and what I was going to stress afterwards, after showing it to you, and again, it's only about 5 minutes long, is what you'll notice is what we talk about all the time. The students on the first floor, unfortunately, that's where this incident started. So they're going from 0 to 60, right? They have no advance notice, no announcement's been made. So they're kind of in the hallway or just in the classroom, and he starts doing the shooting. And you'll see him on the dot. He never enters a classroom. Okay, the doors have windows. You don't see this, but I'm just filling you in. The doors have windows, and he's able to shoot through the windows. So he approaches a door, he looks in. If he sees people, he starts shooting. And you'll see the dots change to yellow or purple. He'll then go down the hall to the next classroom. Same thing. What you'll notice when he goes to the second floor, they don't have any dots, but he goes up and down the hall. There's no victims. And the belief is the students on the second floor heard what was going on the first floor, and they did the proper lockdown procedures, which we're going to talk about at the end here. I do have that on my presentation. He then goes to the third floor. And unfortunately, on the third floor, one, they probably couldn't hear the shooting on the first floor. Two, they believe because of the smoke from his shooting, the fire alarm went off. So what do we do in a fire? What are we trained to do? We go out in the hallway. So you'll notice on the video when he's on the third floor, you'll see a lot of green dots in the hallway. And he comes up, and that's a target-rich environment for him. But what you'll also see on the third floor, as he goes to the first couple classrooms and there's victims, you'll see one classroom in particular, which I was going to point out. They all get away from the door and they all get in a corner. And he'll walk right past that class. So there's no victims in that classroom. And that's really the point we're trying to drive home, is the lockdown procedures. And I'm going to cover those here in 1 second. So please, Bobby will put it out. Again, it's just a few minutes. It's pretty not graphic. It's just little dots. But just to reinforce these points. So during a lockdown, what do we want you to do? We got to keep this simple, right? It's a high stress, low frequency event. So first off, turn off the lights. So if you hear an announcement for a lockdown, turn off your lights. Get into a corner away from the door or any windows. Silence all cell phones. And lock the door. Throughout the campus, if you have a metal door frame, we have the magnets, right? The magnet should be down. If there's a lockdown drill, open the door, slide the magnet up, close it. It should be locked. That's why we always keep them locked. That's the point. You don't have time to mess with finding a key at that point. If it's a wood frame door or in Carter where they have the push bars, those doors are locked all the time. We ask the faculty and staff when they're done in that classroom to just open the door with the foot pedal or a wood block and leave that door open at all times, but it's always locked. So I think we have a contingency for that. So quite simply, lock the door, turn off the lights, get in a corner away from the door or windows, and silence cell phones. We don't want you to turn them off, because hopefully if everything works right, you're going to be getting updates through our friends in marketing, through Regroup. So we want you to be informed. If Xen Run, Hide, Fight kicks in, right? If you find out it's in Carter and you're here in Jason and you can get away, then get away. But anyway, so silence the cell phones, don't turn them off. If the shooter's walking by and he hears a cell phone ringing, he knows there's people in there, right? So he wants you to silence them. So just those 4 things. We'll try to keep it simple. And then just wait for the all clear. Either public safety be around, give the all clear. If there's a knock on the door and it says public safety, whatever, if you're not sure, don't open. Just wait for the announcement. Or if you hear my voice or I say my name or something, then you'll know it's me or one of my staff. With all that said, okay, those 4 steps. This Friday, we've been transparent. I put it on the portal a couple weeks ago. We're going to do a lockdown drill in the Jason building. Last year we did arts and science. Matter of fact, it's almost exactly a year apart. I think it was the 25th or 7th last year, it's 26th this year. So this Friday at 10:30 a.m., we're going to do a lockdown drill in the Jason building, so a great big building. So quite simply, if you're in there with students, or if you're, the marketing folks and all that kind of, I was with Jason last year when we had the real one, right? So please just mentally prepare. 10:30, you'll hear the announcement. Do those 4 things. Public safety is going to come around, make sure the door's locked, look in the windows, make sure we can't see you. It shouldn't take too long. Our goal is to minimal disruption to your classroom and all that kind of stuff. I'm hoping just 10, 15 minutes. We got to fan out, check everything, and make sure everyone's doing everything right, and then we'll give the all clear. That's our goal for this Friday. And my good friend Liza's here. We're going to do the same thing in November in the Carter building, but I'll put a portal announcement out for that. So this Friday, 10:30 a.m., we'll be doing a lockdown in Jason building. So with that said, again, I apologize for the video. That's just a mix-up.
So thank you, Galen. I'm here to present a little bit of information on stewards of children. In 2010, the late Bo Biden, then Attorney General for Delaware, prosecuted one of the worst pedophile cases in the history of the United States. As a result, Bo brought Darkness to Light's Stewards of Children program to Delaware. He believed, quote, "As adults, we have a legal and moral obligation to stand up and speak out for children who are being abused, for they cannot speak for themselves." Stewards of Children is a 2-hour online or facilitator-led training which teaches adults to prevent, recognize, and react responsibly to child sexual abuse. At the launch of the Stewards of Children training program, Bo pledged to train 5% of Delaware's population, approximately 35,000 adults. Upon Bo's death in 2015, the Bo Biden Foundation for the Protection of Children was created to honor his life and to continue his life's work ensuring that all children are free from the threat of abuse. Always a staunch supporter of protecting our most vulnerable, in 2016, Dr. Brainerd embarked upon a college-wide initiative whereby all Delaware Tech employees will go through Stewards of Children training. He believed this was an important step in supporting Bo's goal of eradicating child sexual abuse through support, prevention, awareness, courage, and education, also known as SPACE. So how do we get there? We get there through an ambitious calendar of college-wide in-person training. Delaware Tech has 10 certified Stewards of Children facilitators who kicked off training recently, and I want to thank over 40 of you for attending last week at our location here on the Owens campus. We will be providing this 2-hour informative training which includes videos and thought-provoking discussion and equips us with the skills needed to prevent, recognize, and react responsibly when confronted with child sexual abuse. Your trainers on this campus are Michelle Wark and Kim Merritt, so some of you may have met them recently in the recent training. On the Owens campus, those are your trainers. At Terry, Bill Alexander and Jamie O'Shea. At Stanton, Dawn Bonavita and Dave C. Marcone. At the George or Wilmington campus, Joe Limina and Carol Malkin. And then at the Office of the President, Lynn Beatty and John Slank. Keep your eye on the Delaware Tech portal for upcoming training sessions, which will begin again in January of 2019. And remember, as Delaware Tech launches into space, let's all stand up and speak out for children who are being abused, for they cannot speak for themselves. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Denise Berry. I am the career counselor here at the Owens campus, and I'm also serving as the co-chair along with Tom Byrne for United Way. And Tom could not be here with us today, so I am going to present to you solo. Before I go into the actual campaign, I just want to thank everyone for participating in United Way last year, and and also give you some background about United Way. United Way's mission is to maximize the community's resources to improve the quality of life for all Delawareans. Through the community impact, United Way focuses on education, income, and health. They directly engage and influence, assist individuals and families so they can live up to their greatest potential. So this is a beautiful map of our state. As you can see, it's different colors there. It's actually zip codes of all of our states. And what these are considered our promise communities. I really want to say learning communities, but these are our promise communities for the state. And these are the states that have been most impacted by the use of United Way. They also focus on early education, college and career readiness, and financial stability. United Way also has a campaign for grade level reading, and what this means is that children should be reading successfully by the end of the 3rd grade. You will meet, will my video work?
Excuse me?
I have a video on here, will that work? Okay. You'll meet a spokeskid from United Way. His name is Zyron, who does a much better job explaining this, but Zyron will talk to you a little bit about why this is so important. These are a few of our local organizations that we are members of, the United Way Network, and one actually up here is Stand By Me. So we all remember Corey Dunt, who used to be our Stand By Me coach. I'm going to quickly go through the next slides. This is just to show you how your dollars will work at United Way. And these are some of their strategic initiatives. So you see campaign for grade level reading is here, Delaware Pathways. And I just want to talk a little bit about 211. Has anybody ever heard of 211? 211 is similar to 911. It's not the emergency 911, but it is a social service referral agency. So it's a way for you to get connected. If you have questions or concerns, you can just call 211 and they will assist you. So please make sure you have that number. If your students have any questions, you can always refer them to 211. All right, I'm going to show Zyron. Make sure this works. No?
Hi, I'm Zyron. I'm the spokesperson for United Way of Delaware. United Way of Delaware has been helping people for over 7 years, but we want you to get to know us even better. When you give to United Way of Delaware, you're helping people from the city to the beach and everywhere in between. We want a better life for everyone in our state. I know it sounds like a pretty big job, but let me explain so a 9-year-old can understand. United Way of Delaware improves lives by focusing on 3 areas: early education, college and career readiness, and financial stability for families. I know. You're probably asking, but what does that mean, darling? Well, let me tell you. It means we make sure that kids are reading on grade level by the end of 3rd grade. And high school students can find a good college or job. And our families can be financially stable. Now that's the Delaware we all want to see. United Way of Delaware, my very own library, gave over 150,000 books to kids for them to start their own libraries at home. Step 1 helps middle school students pick a career path and get ready for high school. Stand By Me, financial coaches help families save millions of dollars. Those are just a few of our programs. We have something for almost everyone in Meadtown in Delaware. There are many ways you can get involved with United Way of Delaware. You can visit uwde.org to give, advocate, or volunteer. Help us make Delaware a place where we all love to live, work, and play. When it comes to empowering our community, United starts with you.
All right, thank you. That was Zyron. All right, so what does this mean for you? So today, has anyone been at their desk yet? Did you receive the email? Today kicks off our United Way kickoff campaign for the next 2 weeks. It starts Monday, October 22nd, and will end on Friday, November 2nd. You also will have some team captains. If you're a team captain for your area, would you please stand? And we really tried to get you some T-shirts to represent United Way, but we didn't get them in time. But if you are a team captain, please look around to make sure you know who your team captain is. They will be assisting you throughout the next 2 weeks to make sure you don't have any questions and concerns. You can actually contact them as well. I also wanted to take some time to, if you're unsure about not knowing, reasons why to give or why should you give to United Way, I just wanted to go over 10 reasons why you should give. You can inspire someone else to give too. Kids are watching you. Teach them how to be a good neighbor. You can help build the future workforce of tomorrow. You can give to programs you are passionate about. You can help prepare young men for work. You can raise a little girl's self-esteem. You can give warmth to a family in cold. You can help kids learn to read. You can help to build a better place to live and work. And you can make communities stronger. So I encourage you to give to United. Sorry. Still have to go to my next slide. Team captains. All right, I wanted to make sure I showed this. This is our past participation for the last 2 years. And as you can see, it sort of decreased. Last year, we were a little stronger in 2016, so we do encourage you to participate. One thing, if you're unable to participate this year, we still ask if you can go in and fill out that link. We still need to know, we count that as participation. So if you're unable to participate, just make sure you still go in and just click it and say unable to participate. Any questions? All right, thank you so much.
All right, guys, I told you it was going to be a little longer because we had a shorter in-service this year, and so we had to put some of those topics, you kind of move them to today. So 2 times a year we ask you to give, United Way in the fall and employee giving in the spring. So, please, the links are specific to you that you got in your email, so please make sure you click on that. Whether you can give or not, please click, as Denise said, so that we have that participation. So I know it's been long, but I didn't want to not do Ask Bobby. So is there anything in particular that anyone has for me this morning? Ask any questions?
Can you just give a little update about November 8th? That the New York halftime day?
Okay, yeah. So was the announcement put up on my DTCC yet for Return Day? If it wasn't, Return Day is always every 2 years, right? We have Return Day, so it's always a little confusing because Sussex County, we do our little own thing on, our own little thing, I should say. So the campus will be closed from 12 to 4 that afternoon, okay? So, which means that business services, financial aid, all this will not be reopening at 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock like they normally do, okay? So 12 to 4, we're closed. Obviously, evening classes start back up at 4 o'clock again. Our Child Development Center closes at noon as well that day. We will have, if it's not already up, we developed one, and it may be there, I just haven't looked, an announcement to kind of get everybody straight on Return Day, because it seems like it sneaks up on us every 2 years, and we're like, how does this work? We've talked about it at Administrative Council. I'm like, public safety will be here because we have a lot of activities on campus for Return Day, but we do have technically a half day that day, 12 to 4. We will be closed. Anybody else? Thank you for reminding me about that.
Bobby, I forgot to mention,
Yeah.
I had a note at the bottom. There was an inquiry about public safety in vehicles. You see the folks out in vehicles and you see them on foot. So we like to give the perception we're everywhere. Obviously we're not, but anyone do the Fitbit challenge here? So the folks that do, would you like to have someone from public safety on your team? Why is that?
Because they walk around a whole lot.
I think last year Brent Dyer had, 100,000 steps or something crazy, so I forget what team.
Yeah, we disqualified that team.
Yeah. Obviously it wasn't Bobby's team.
It was not mine.
I remember somebody came down the hall and they wanted Bonzel Starnes on their team. So, but there was an inquiry just about, and I understand some people may have a perception that our folks are in their vehicles a lot, and the thought was maybe they could be out and walking Bobby and I had talked,
Yeah.
just wanted me to bring it up today.
Good.
It is a big campus, it's 147 acres, so
Yeah.
we do need vehicles, because there are times when we get a call about a medical emergency wherever, and our folks, the first aid kits, and AED, they're in the vehicles. We have them in buildings too, but, so they have to get somewhere fast. So they do have their vehicles. You'll see them out and about. They like to be out at night when the people come out with their classes in the parking lots with their yellow lights, so people feel safe. So there could be that perception, they're in vehicles a lot, but they're really just kind of going to and from. But they're also on foot a lot as well. So I think.
Yeah,
Bobby
thank you,
said
Gail, and I
something.
forgot, I had asked.
I had a
you.
note, and I just forgot.
Yeah, and I forgot as well. So, we try to do kind of a multifaceted approach to public safety. We need, because of the size of our campus, like Galen said, we need people out in vehicles. In the evening, I came back to campus the other night at 10:30 at night, because my husband, we kind of went somewhere together up north, and I left the car here, and it was very nice when I came back on campus. A car pulled up next to me. Everything okay, Bobby? I said, oh yeah, I'm just picking up my car. It's no big deal, and they're out and about. So I can tell you they're out looking to see, make sure everybody's okay. So it is a combination. And yes, if you do the Fitbit challenge, you most definitely want a public safety officer on your team, because you will win every time. Any other questions about anything? All right, guys, we'll have a super week. Talk to you soon.